Hey, YouTube, this is Southern Purple One, and welcome to Boots on the Ground and News You Should Know. We have received another shipment of our radios in. This is an AM/FM shortwave radio. I urge you, make sure you at least minimum have an AM/FM radio. With the amount of cyber attacks that are happening, if the internet goes down, a lot of people are not going to have the old school ways of getting information. AM is very important because the government will be relaying a lot of emergency information. If we do have a serious situation, a nuclear war, nuclear exchange, World War III, AM is very important to get critical information. The important part about our radio is you can use the solar, you can use the hand crank on it to charge it. You can also put three AAA batteries in it, and it also has a rechargeable battery in there. So for sure, you will be able to get the information. It has a flashlight, it has a way to charge your cell phone for an emergency call. So they're in stock. Let's get right to the news. England last May did an amnesty for turning in your illegal weapons. And these weapons would be your curved swords, your zombie knives, your extendable batons, or your just regular knives. I saw video or pictures of the May amnesty, and basically it was just a bunch of kitchen knives, steak knives, and other kitchen knives. They are wanting to increase your safety in your community over in England. So they're asking people to turn your weapons in. And if you know people that carry illegal kitchen knives on their possession, to talk to them to see if they'll turn them in. About a week ago, they had an Arab Islamic summit in Riyadh. To me, this was very important. You saw enemies that were talking, people that did not get along, be it Iran, be it Saudi Arabia, and they have one common enemy. If they combine, this would be an extremely powerful force. You add Turkey in there, it would cause probably more than a regional war. It would probably lead to World War III. We did a simulation of dropping nuclear bombs on Russia, and this would be attacks on Moscow and St. Petersburg, and these were to target ICBM silos if we had a major attack. And this was done with 2 squadrons of F-35 nuclear capable. So not what we want to be showing and telling Russia. The world is already a powder keg. I wish cooler minds would prevail and we could sit down and talk. There was a few days ago the accident in the Mediterranean where the 160th Special Operations, the Night Stalkers, they lost one of their helicopters and the death of 5 service members. I'm very familiar with 160th. I was stationed at Fort Campbell for many years and had some good friends in the 160th. Tim Scott a few days ago announced that he will be dropping out of the Republican presidential campaign. I truly wish Nikki Haley would. She was the governor of South Carolina, and I know her very well. And she is definitely a rhino. I found this amusing that this is being accepted. Pet psychics. They're no longer on the fringe elements of society, but many people are accepting them. And so much that this one particular one charges $550 for a 90-minute session. And she has a waiting list of over 7,600 people waiting for her services. There has been some legislation introduced, hopefully will not pass. It's called the Ammunition Modernization and Monitoring Oversight. Basically, it will reduce or restrict the ability to buy bulk sales. It's not a good thing for freedom-loving people. They voted on the amendment that would kill the kill switch mandate. In a few years, all vehicles will be equipped with this. Their purpose was to stop drunk driving, but also it would be the ability very easily to anyone could probably hack into your car and shut it down. Law enforcement could shut your car down. It's just restricting your freedom of movement. But there was a bunch of our representatives that said, oh, no, this is a good thing. Let's keep it in place. Just more big brother. They're saying that there's a larger amount of people starting to withdraw money from their 401k because of hardships. This is just going to continue to get worse as people have unexpected bills or just can't make their payments because of the inflation. So this is something to watch. It's not a huge number, but it's definitely going up. I think it was 27% higher than the first 3 months of this year. Apple has agreed to pay a fine of $25 million in back pay and civil penalties because they discriminated against U.S. citizens and permanent residents in favor of those people that were foreigners with green cards, seeking green cards. This is a company, it's European's largest auto parts maker, Continental, and they just announced major cuts of 5,500 people. It represents about 3% of their workforce. Amazon has cut about 180 jobs, and this is at its games division. To me, I thought this would be one of their last areas they would cut, with all of the younger generation out there that does a lot of gaming. Tyson Foods have closed 6 poultry plants earlier this year, and they just announced some more. There's one in North Carolina that will be laying off a bunch of workers and closing down. There's one in Jacksonville, Florida, that is closing down. And I just found out there's another one in Columbia, South Carolina, not far from me. So it's sort of weird that we are rapidly closing down processing plants. Earlier, the last year or two, we had a lot of fires in processing plants. So I hope you are stockpiling and stocking up for maybe not a complete shortage of food, but definitely an increased pricing of food. Canadian Tire is laying off about 1,000 people up in Canada. People were asked some questions about Biden's economy. And according to 33% of Americans, they say it's bad and it's hurting them a lot. 14% said, no, they're better off. I find that hard to believe. Probably just diehard Democrats that do not want to make Biden look bad. So a lot of people are feeling the pinch of the economy and definitely inflation. If you've been following WeWorks, they were valued at $47 billion. Now, because they're filing bankruptcy, they're only valued at $45 million. So they went from $47 billion to $45 million. What is that, like a 99% crash? The problem with this, though, is they had a huge amount of office space. They had over 777 locations, and this is worldwide. They had over 906,000 workstations. And all of a sudden now, they will be not using this space, and a lot of landlords are going to be hurting. This amounted to $14.2 billion in lease obligations. So we are definitely facing commercial rents are crashing. There's so much space available. So it's a slowdown in the economy for sure. Plus, it is people's ability to work at home. Ukraine has received a lot of financial help from the world. They have received $230 billion in aid since the Russian invasion. I think that'd be 2022. The United States is the biggest donor by far, and they have given little over $70 billion. The Biden administration wants to really double down on this, and they want to do $60 billion. This will have to go through the legislative branch, and probably won't happen. But he wants to give another $60 billion plus a bunch more to Israel. You probably saw the freeway fire. It was a massive fire in Los Angeles. It was on, I think, the Highway 10. I saw the video when it first started, and I was amazed at the amount of pallets and general stuff stored under this. I thought this would be definitely not allowed. There was so much that actually people were renting it out. I remember a year or so ago, there was another bridge destroyed because there was people underneath it with storage, and there were homeless people with their camps that it burned. So hopefully they can get this fixed rapidly, and hopefully, just for security, they would outlaw the storing of anything under overpasses or bridges. To me, that's very scary. Anyone that wanted to place a bomb under there could definitely hide the bomb with all of the storage. Be very hard to secure. The United States has conducted a lot more strikes against Syria. These are increasing, and Hezbollah is striking back. They've been launching anti-tank missiles, they've been firing mortars, and just been escalating against Israel. Um, on the 12th of November, 7 Israeli soldiers were injured after a mortar attack. And there's so much more information coming out of the equipment that Hezbollah has, the anti-tank weapons, the artillery, the missiles. It's downright scary to see what they have. We just received the new information on inflation, and they say inflation cooled to only 3.2% last month. So this was actually very positive news if their numbers are right. And I don't trust their numbers one bit. Um, I saw a comment on a post that said CPI did not get my car insurance bill or my tax bill. They're up over 20%. So a lot of people are doubting that these numbers are actually true. They're manipulating a lot of numbers. Also, there was a report that the Illinois school children did a little better this year on some standardized testing than last year. But scores for public schools just came out that showed only 35% of students in grade 3 through 8 could read at grade level in 2023. And only 27 were proficient in math. Also, I saw some numbers on Baltimore school districts. Baltimore is unbelievable. 7% of 3rd through 8th graders tested proficient in math. And that's basically 93% of students, 3rd grade through 8th grade, cannot be proficient in math. This is the future of our country. These are our future engineers and scientists, doctors, lawyers, and not looking good for us as a country. I've heard a lot of things from China. I've heard people talk about India, where education over there, and people take it very serious. They work for hours and hours and hours and hours after they go home to get their schoolwork done. Our country is the exact opposite. There's a whole generation of kids that cannot read and write at a critical level. So there you go. There's some boots on the ground and news you should know. Thanks for watching.